Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And this whole week I'm doing Mother's Day movies. And today it is the 1987 film Throw Mama from the Train. Here is your trivia question for today. While Larry is staying with Owen and his mother, what does Owen eagerly show him? The answer will be at the end of this episode. So at the beginning of this film, we meet Larry, who is unfortunately in a bit of a slump as he's dealing with writer's block. And that's mainly been caused by the fact that he helped create a #1 best-selling book, which unfortunately his ex-wife stole all the credit from, and now he was left with nothing. And what only adds to his frustration is that he also works as a teacher teaching creative writing at a community college. Now, one of his students is a man named Owen, who's a bit of an odd individual. Owen really wants to be a good writer, so he continually keeps showing up in Larry's life, pretty much as a stalker, trying to get as much advice as he can. Now, the biggest reason why Owen has kind of glommed on to Larry is that back at home, he lives with his mother, who is not only overbearing, but also the exact opposite of encouraging. One night, while Owen is getting advice from Larry on how to write a murder mystery, the two of them end up bonding over their hate. Larry for his ex wife, and Owen for his mother. During this conversation, Larry ends up suggesting to Owen to go see the movie Strangers on a Train to get some inspiration. Unfortunately, Owen gets the wrong idea when watching this movie and now thinks that Larry is suggesting that if Owen were to kill his ex wife, Larry could then kill his mother, and then neither one could be held as the suspect. So, will Owen actually be able to go through with taking out Larry's ex wife? And even if he does that, will Larry be able to take out Owen's mother? This movie was directed by Danny DeVito. The title of the movie comes from the Patti Page song Momma from the Train. Now, Irving Gordon, who was the songwriter, ended up suing because of them using that title. They did end up settling outside of court, though. Originally, Danny DeVito wanted to play the character of Larry, but as we all know, that eventually did go to Billy Crystal. Now, there were two other actors that were up for the role of Larry. That was Bill Murray and Tom Hanks. Before Danny DeVito settled on him playing the character of Owen, other actors that were up for that role were Robin Williams, Joe Pesci, Dudley Moore, John Candy, Bob Hoskins, Christopher Lloyd, John Goodman, Michael Keaton, and John Lithgow. Anne Ramsey was perfect casting as the character of Mrs. Lift. Now, the reason that she has a speech impediment during the film was due to an operation for her throat cancer. Unfortunately, Ramsey passed away soon after this film released. Now, this next piece of trivia really shocked me. Anne Ramsey actually performed the stunt of appearing to almost fall off the train. Some of the interesting cameos that occurred throughout this film were Rob Reiner, Kate Mulgrew, Kim Greist, and Oprah Winfrey. Apparently, director Brian De Palma almost made a cameo but couldn't fit it into his schedule. So when Mrs. Lift slaps Owen, that was real. Danny DeVito actually requested that Ramsey do it as hard as she could. In the film, Owen hits Larry with a frying pan. Luckily, it was made out of rubber, but I'm still pretty certain that Billy Crystal did not enjoy the fact that DeVito reshot that scene 12 times. At one point in the movie, Owen is traveling in a taxi from the Sunset Cab Company. This was a little nod towards DeVito's time on the television series Taxi, where the company in that show is called the Sunshine Cab Company. To get the rights to use the film from the movie Strangers on a Train, Orion Pictures had to trade the rights of Arthur to Warner Brothers. The tunnel that appears in the film is Observatory Tunnel at Griffith Park in Los Angeles. This particular tunnel has been used in so many different movies. Just a few of these films have been Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Back to the Future Part 2, Earth Girls Are Easy, The Rocketeer, War Games, and Barton Fink. In the original script, there was a different ending for Mrs. Lift. In that version, she still died, but from choking on a salted nut, and that would have been a callback to that joke earlier in the film. I really wish they would have kept that in. The movie takes place in both California and Hawaii, and it was filmed in both of those locations. So when it comes to the film Throw Mama from the Train, I really do like this movie. I think it's one of Danny DeVito's best characters, and Billy Crystal is great in it as well. But I feel like the story itself could have been just a little bit better than it was. so I think I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. Now, if you did enjoy the movie, other films I recommend checking out are Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Three Fugitives, and What About Bob? Now it's time for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode. While Larry is staying with Owen and his mother, what does Owen eagerly show him? Owen ends up showing Larry his coin collection, which consists of 3 nickels, 2 quarters, and a penny. Now, to the best of Owen's knowledge, none of these coins are actually worth any monetary value, but they are worth emotional value, as these are all coins given to Owen when he was a child from his late father when they would go out and see a play or production or something else together. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews, and if there's a movie you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments.